Hello everybody and welcome to Python for Everybody. We're going to do some code walkthrough, and if you want to follow through with the code, you can download the sample code from Python for Everybody. And so the code that we're going to play with is the Twspider code that is both talking to the Twitter API and talking to the database. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to run code that's going to hit the Twitter API, much like we did in a previous chapter, and we're going to retrieve the data, but we're going to remember the data so we don't have to retrieve it again. Okay, and so we're going to keep track of people's friends, and what we're doing here is sort of illicitly pulling down, slowly but surely, based subject to our rate limit, we're pulling down who our friends are. And so let's take a look. We're going to use URL-lib and URL-lib error, Twitter URL, which was code that augments my URL to do all the OAuth calculation. We're going to get JSON data back. We're going to make a database, and we have to import SQL because of the way Python doesn't trust any certificates, no matter how good they are. So this is our URL to talk to the Twitter API. We're going to make a database, and again, the way SQLite works is if this spider.sqlite doesn't exist, it creates it. And we get ourselves a cursor, and we're going to do a create table. This, if not, exists. Some SQLs, but SQLite 3 does this. Create table if it doesn't exist. We want to start this over and over. Unlike the tracks example, I want to start this over and over and not lose data. And this is a spidering process, and we'll see a lot of these where we want a restartable process where we use a database. So if we're starting with nothing and there's no file, a Spider SQLite, it creates this table, and it's the name of the person, whether we retrieved it or not, and how many friends this person has that we know of in our database. Now this little bit is to deal with the SSL certificate errors. The certificates are totally fine, but Python doesn't trust any certificates by default, which is frustrating, but whatever. So here we're going to have a loop. We're going to ask for a Twitter account. We have to type quit to quit. If we hit enter in this case, we're going to actually read from the database an unretrieved Twitter person and then grab all that person's friends. Okay, and so then we're going to do a fetch one, get one, and that's going to get the name of the first person, the sub-zero. If we had more things than name here, sub-zero is the first of those. Fetch one means get one row from the database, and sub-zero means the first column of that first row. And if this fails, then we've retrieved all the Twitter accounts. And so, you know, we're going to augment this Twitter URL using this makes, you can look at the twurl.py code. This basically requires the hidden.py file, which has your keys and secrets in it. You got to get hidden.py updated. I've got it updated, but I'm not going to show you because it has my keys and secrets in it. And so we're only going to take the first 5, which means we're probably not going to find friends of friends of friends. It's only the most 5 recent ones. We could run this with a much higher number to get to so we have more than one friend. We'll show the URL while we retrieve it. We will do our URL open, we'll do a read, and then we'll do a decode to make sure that this will give us data in UTF-8, and then decode will give us data in Unicode, which is what we need inside of Python. We will ask for the headers from the connection. We'll say, give me the headers, give me a dictionary of the headers, and the X rate limiting header from the Twitter API tells us when we're going to be told we can't use this API anymore, because this is one of those things. And then we're going to parse and load the data that we got from Twitter and get a I think it's a list. Yeah, it's a list. And then we could dump this if you want. In yours, you can undo that. And then what we're going to do is we've just retrieved this person's screen name and their friends. And so the first thing we want to do is update the database and change the retrieved from 0 to 1. And that's because we're going to use this to know about unretrieved. So retrieved being 1 means we've already retrieved it, and we did retrieve it. So for that account, we've retrieved it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to parse that. And so this is similar to the Twitter code we did previously in the Web Services chapter. We're going to go through all the users. We're going to find their screen name. We're going to print the screen name out. Okay, and then what we're going to do is see if, let's see, so we're going through all the users who are the friends of this person, and we're going to say, oh, okay, let's select the friends from Twitter where the name is the friend person. And what we're going to do is if we're going to do a cur fetch one of this Twitter, the name of the friends, this is the friend screen name, right? So we're going to say, oh, okay, if we get this, we're going to get the friend screen name, and we're going to get how many friends this particular screen name has. If we find a URL, we find it in there, we're going to do an update statement and add 1 to their friend count, how many friends they have, and then keep track. This count here is not in the database, it's just so I can print it out at the end. If there is no record for this particular friend, we're going to insert them into it new, and we're going to say, here's the new person that we just saw. Here, that's their name. We're going to set retrieve to 0, and we're going to say that they have 1 friend. Okay? And then we're going to commit the transaction, and then we're going to close this at the end. Okay? So let's go ahead and run this. The first time it's going to create an empty database. So I'm going to say Python 3 Twspider. So ls star SQLite. Nothing there. Python 3, oops, that's because I removed it. Python 3 twspider.py. Okay, so I'm going to start with a Twitter account, Dr. Chuck. And so it's doing this retrieval, and don't worry, showing the token and the signature is not dangerous because you don't have the keys or the token, the secrets and the token secrets, so don't get all too worried. So I have 11 calls left, so I hope this all works. One of my friends is Stephanie Teasley, and these are in reverse order. So let's grab Stephanie and ask for Stephanie's friends. So now we just retrieve Stephanie's friends, and here are Stephanie's most recent friends. And then I can just hit enter, and it'll randomly pick. Let's see if I can in the database. Let's open this up, file open database. Hope I don't lock myself. Sometimes it's a little scary when you look at the database and you're just checking. So this is what my database looks like. We retrieved Stephanie, and she has, this is how many people. So these are the friends of Stephanie and me, and these are how many. I'm not in there. So we retrieved Stephanie, which was a friend. So let's go grab, I don't know, let's grab Tim McKay and get that one. Remaining 10, I don't have too many of these. Tim McKay, right? So there we go. Remaining 9. And so if I do a refresh on this, then you see I've got some more folks. If I hit enter here, it will retrieve, it'll pick one randomly based on the retrieve being 0, so it won't pick Stephanie or Tim because they're 0, but we have lots of other folks to pick randomly, and we'll hit enter. So it picked, who did it pick? It picked screen name Live EDU TV, which is ironic because I'm recording this on Live EDU TV right now. And so we can keep hitting refresh, and away we go. So I'm going to stop now because I only have 8 remaining, and so I'm going to type quit, and so we will see. We'll see how that works. So that's how it works. Now remember that you've got to edit the hidden.py file to make this work because we are talking to the Twitter API. If you don't edit that file, it won't work for you. Okay, so I hope you find this useful. Cheers.